Hey friends, so we are doing another eating on a budget. I wanted to go to Walmart, but the weather is honestly not the best, and Walmart's a little bit further for me. I'm very mindful about like driving in not great weather conditions. Even though I'm driving here, it's just a lot closer. But if I can't get what I want to get here on a budget, I probably will make the trip. But anyways, we're going to be eating on a tight budget today. The budget is a little bit over 100. And I know people are on the internet, they're like, well, that's not really a tight budget. And that would, 100 a week would be really good for my family who's on a low income, which I understand. I live in Ontario, Canada, where $100 honestly does not get you that far. So it really obviously depends where you live. I feel like in the States, you could probably do pretty well for 100, but here, it's not that much, honestly. And I will show you guys like some of the prices if I'm able to, just so you can get an idea. Because obviously cooking on a tight budget does look different for every family. And these are real numbers. This is real life. So with that being said, we're going to cook on a budget this week. I'm going to take you guys in. We're going to have a look around. Like I said, I may not be able to get what I want here. I may have to drive to, if I have to go to Walmart, I will obviously get back on here and say that. But, yeah, even where I live, I think Walmart is still one of the cheapest places to shop. But yeah, we usually go to Freshco. We're going to go there today and just see what they have and see if they have what I need. And if not, we will go to Walmart. But let's get into the video. So this is everything that I got from the grocery store, and it should make about 5 meals, maybe 6. Before I went to the grocery store, I did check what I have here. I have 2 chicken breasts here in the freezer, and I have, I think, a 2-pound thing of ground beef. And so I did plan my meals kind of around that, which I always do, and I always recommend if you're on a budget or just in general to save money. But with that being said, this is everything I got. I just want to say as well, okay, so something like this is not typically what I would buy if I had more money to spend, but today we are working with a budget. Obviously the most cost-effective way to buy rice would be to buy it in bulk. And I would normally do that. I do normally get bigger bags, but because I'm working with a tight budget and I didn't have rice, I did decide to get that pack, but it wouldn't be something I typically do. It was just the cheapest for where I was at the time. But I just wanted to say that if you have rice or whatever, you should always buy those things in bulk. Beans as well, buy it in bulk because you're gonna save a lot more money. But yeah, let's get into it. I'll show you everything I got. So we have eggs here, but I needed to pick up some milk. So I got some 2% milk. I also got this. It was on the sticker. So it was $16.15, but it was $5 off. So it was around $11.15. This pack of chicken breast was $10. I got some celery because one thing I'm going to do is make a big chicken soup. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use the big chicken or chicken breast. I'm not sure yet because I kind of want to make a roast chicken, but I'm going to really think about it because this makes a way better broth and you don't need added bouillon. You don't need added broth when you use a whole chicken. So I might do that. I have egg noodles here, so I didn't have to purchase that. I got some carrots for the soup, and we already had onions here. And I got a thing of bananas. For pasta sauce, I usually like the jar, but again, I was looking for the lowest price tag for today. So I just got these cans. Honestly, they taste just as good, and they're a lot cheaper. So I would recommend them. I just prefer the jars. I really love the Classico, but it's quite expensive. Got some mini pizzas. Only got this because it's one of my children's safe foods. They're very picky. They just don't like a lot of textures and they love pizza. So I got her that. Not cost effective, but I needed olive oil, and as you guys would have seen in the clips, this was the cheaper on the price tag, so that's what I got this week. We also have some Annie's white cheddar. Again, this is just for one of my kids. It's just one of their safe foods. I decided to pick it up, and that way it's just there. We got some lasagna noodles for a lasagna soup, which is going to make probably 2 or 3 meals because it makes a lot. We got some of this marble cheese. I would normally buy mozzarella and get this separately, but again, I was on a budget and this will work just fine. So we got that. A little container of blueberries. Not really cost effective this week, but I just wanted them. That's it. We also got a head of broccoli. For frozen fruit, I know this is not gonna go very far. I usually buy 2 or 3 bags a week, but for now I just thought I would get the one and we'll see how long it stretches. I had to go into Dollarama because I forgot to get chicken broth, which I don't know if I'll need necessarily, but it does add good flavor. They did not have the broth. They only had bouillon, so I just got this 12 cube pack. It'll go really far anyways. And these were $1 each at Dollarama. They had seasoning salt and garlic powder. I've never tried their spices, but I'm pretty excited to try them because they're really cheap. I also got an Italian when I went into Freshco. I got a butter chicken packet. For this one, you just add tomato sauce, and I do think I have a tomato sauce here. I bought one, but I think I already have one. So yeah. We also got a hot chocolate, a big pack of apples. I just got some protein oatmeal. It's just an easy breakfast and it's pretty good. It has added protein, keeps you full longer. I prefer the, I'm trying to think of the brand. It's an organic brand, Nature's Choice or Nature's Valley. I don't really remember, but that's what I usually get. It's not very sweet at all. You do have to add your own sweetener, but this was just cheaper. So I got that. And for the kids, I got them some Fruit Loops, and it'll last a few breakfasts. So that's everything I got. I am going to run to Walmart. We are getting the kids some boxes of Halloween candy because it's pouring today, and obviously we're just not gonna, we don't really do Halloween anyways, but it's raining and we want them to feel included, so we're gonna go get them some boxes of chocolate. I do need to pick up potatoes because I forgot to pick that up, so I am gonna do that, and some Greek yogurt. So yeah, technically I am going a little over budget, but still within a good budget. We kind of budgeted for the candy separately, but I did forget to buy 2 things, so I'm gonna have to do that. But everything here actually costed $110, and I told you guys my budget was $130. So we're gonna get that put away, and then I'm gonna take you guys along for the cooking as well. So for this first meal, we are taking 2 of the chicken breasts from our pack, and this is important, but I had a chicken breast already in the fridge. I had an extra one from the previous meal that I made the night before this, even though I don't show it in the video. We did have an extra chicken breast, and so I'm actually using that here as well. So I'm only using 2 chicken breasts from the pack, but I didn't include that third one in the cost. I just wanted to say, obviously from the beginning, I said my budget was over 100, and you guys might be wondering why my thumbnail says $10 dinners for 5 dinners, and that's because obviously I'm accounting for the other stuff that I bought at the grocery store, but for the dinners I averaged it out. It was about $10 per dinner, and so yeah, just to explain that. But yeah, we are just sauteing the chicken breast now with some onions. So for this first dinner, I am just making a really easy butter chicken. I bought this Clubhouse packet from my grocery store. I've used it one other time before this. I will say I made it in a crock pot the first time, even though it's not made for the crock pot. I really did prefer using it in the crock pot. I would just say if your children don't like spicy food, I don't know if this is one for you. Maybe just use less of the packet or make a homemade sauce that isn't as spicy, because this one was actually really spicy even for me. So I think next time I'll just use half the pack, or maybe add, more heavy cream or something. I didn't even have heavy cream, so I used 2% milk because that's what I had in my fridge, but it does call for heavy cream, so maybe that would have made a difference. But I personally just thought it was too spicy, and I probably wouldn't use this one again, or if I did, I would just use less, like I said. But this turned out really yummy. It was really cheap and it was pretty good. I just added some rice on the side, some of our instant rice, and then some broccoli in the steamer. For this next dinner, it was just a little over $10 if you count the produce that I'm using. I already had the onions here. I just made my own broth with the chicken. Right now, you are just seeing me roughly chop up this carrot. And as you guys will see, I didn't use the vegetables actually in the soup. I just used it for the broth. So you just wash them off, chop it, and let that simmer for 45 minutes with a whole roasted chicken, or even closer to 60 minutes depending on the side of your chicken. For this onion, you could also leave the onion peel on, but I just like to take it off. And yeah, I'm putting all of that in a big pot with some salt, garlic powder, Italian, and I'm just bringing it to a simmer. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and let that simmer for about 45 minutes. Once you're done with your broth, you're going to go ahead, take the chicken out, shred it, strain your broth so that there's not any like yucky fat or whatever that you don't really want in your broth. Or leave it in if you like that, but I just remove it and strain everything. After that, you are gonna go ahead and saute some vegetables in the pot once it's empty and you have your broth aside, and you're gonna saute them for a little bit. You're gonna add back your shredded chicken, your broth, and you can make it really versatile. For me, I added egg noodles, so it was like just a classical chicken noodle soup. You could do rice, which I've done before as well, and that was also a hit. You could add some lemon for a little bit of lemon flavor, and that's really delicious as well. But for cold and flu season, this one was definitely a hit, and I'm just making some of these cheddar garlic knots as well, and we had that on the side. It was a really delicious meal. I didn't get to take a picture or a video of this dinner once it was all plated, but you pretty much get the idea. So the third meal we made is this peanut butter Thai curry from the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook. Now, I don't fully do the Trim Healthy Mama, but I love the simple recipes in their cookbook. And so I'm just taking some chicken breast, a can of coconut milk, a few teaspoons of red curry paste, which is very affordable at Walmart. You can use peanut butter or almond butter, whatever you have on hand. I'm adding about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of almond butter. But like I said, use what you have. Even the wow butter, all of that works really nicely too. For a peanut-free option, I am adding some brown sugar for our sweetener, but you can really customize that as well with honey, maple syrup, stevia. Just use maybe a little less for the stevia, and some chicken broth, but I'm using our bouillon because that's what I had. And I'm also adding just a few drops of sesame oil. So I just want to say, I know chicken breast is not necessarily going to be a cheap cut of meat for everyone. And for me, sometimes it's not a cheap cut of meat, but it was on sale on this particular week. And I just wanted to stress that these recipes, obviously, it may not be super budget friendly for everybody. It may not always be considered a poverty meal. The point of this video is check your sales, check your resources. Maybe you got a cut of meat at the food bank and you can make a meal with that and plan around what you already have. Or maybe there are some things for sale in your area and you can plan meals around that. That is really the encouragement in this video. Every week looks pretty different for us. You can also use chicken thighs in this recipe. I would opt for the boneless ones. I think it'll turn out a lot better, but usually those are just overall more affordable. So if you have to use that, definitely go ahead and do that. So for this next meal, it is simple. It comes together in like just a few minutes and it's really versatile. You could have this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or even a snack. I have had it for different meals and it is always really filling. I just add a piece of protein bread. You can add whatever bread you have on hand. Crack an egg in the bread. Add whatever cheese you have and seasonings. I like to do Italian and garlic powder. Those are just my favorites for pretty much everything. And I add a hash brown on the side. I'm going to be air frying this for 7 minutes at 370 degrees. And it is just really delicious. You can also make this in the oven. I will leave the recipe
in the description, even though it's pretty self-explanatory. For those who want some oven directions, I will leave a link in the description, so it's super easy for you. But this is so delicious and so filling. It is one of my go-tos. So the last dinner we are making is just a really easy meatloaf and homemade scallop potatoes. I actually had planned to make a lasagna soup with my ground beef, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, but I ran out of the sauce and I wasn't able to make it. But the point is, you know, sometimes things change and you just do your best to use what you have and create a delicious meal for your family, which is what I try to do. I do feel sometimes I'm a better cook with less. I will say I feel like this was missing some key ingredients here. I ran out of butter. My meatloaf was pretty basic. I just had enough for a meatloaf. I threw it together with some panko. I would usually use Italian, but again, we're going with what we have. And I just kept it really simple, but that is going to be it for today's video. If this video was helpful, I hope you will go ahead and leave me a like or a comment letting me know which of these dinners you would like to try. Also, let me know in the comments what your go-to budget-friendly dinner is. I'm always looking for new recipes. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. God bless.